All right, everyone. We'd like to welcome the SCGA's Director of Championships and Golf Operations, Jeff Ninnemann, to the program. How you doing, Jeff?
Jonathan, I'm well. Today.
Great to hear. And, for our listeners that aren't really familiar with your role, can you give them an idea of what your work consists of here at the SCGA on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, well, as you mentioned, our team is responsible for the championships and golf operations. So, that's basically all of the SCGA's competitive programs, which include, of course, championships, our one-day series, our various league offerings, as well as SCGA member outings. So really any type of SCGA-administered event that our members, or even non-members in some cases, are participating in, sort of falls under the umbrella of our team.
Yeah, and I can say I might be a little biased, but you guys do a great job over there. You're running a whole ton of stuff throughout the year. And, back in March on that fateful night when, we decided to suspend all championships for the time being, I'm not sure either of us expected that we'd have a significant and meaningful schedule of events for 2020. Well, here we are with a revamped calendar and only a few cancellations. So how excited are you to get these competitions underway?
It's been quite the journey. I certainly remember that night, probably one of the more memorable nights in the career, unfortunately. But yeah, we're stoked. I don't think any of us expected to be able to really have the amount of events still on the docket that we do. But I'm happy to report that most of our championships have in fact been rescheduled for later this year. So we're itching to go. We've got a lot of plans and guidelines in place to make these events as safe as possible for all of our participants, and we'll be ready starting June 30th.
Yeah, and you hinted at it there. What safety precautions will be in place at SCGA events in 2020?
Well, the list is long, but in essence, we're trying to make the environment as similar to what's happening just in golf as we know it today as possible. So not only that, but reducing virtually all of the touch points that we previously might have had in SCGA competition. So whether that's no longer distributing supplies on the first tee, whether that's making all of the paperwork that one usually can expect to receive now digital or electronically received the night before an event. We of course need to address things like holing out and the likely unavailability of bunker rakes, right? So we're going to have rules in place as to how you can handle your ball when it comes to rest in a bunker. We of course have the issue of whether or not players can take carts and how that might impact the tournament. So, we've really tried to address every angle. I guess the last one I should also hint at is of course the scoring process. We won't hand out scorecards, but rather people will have the option to print one at home the night before or use the Golf Genius software to enter their scores on a mobile device throughout the round. So it's going to look a lot different, but I do think at the end of the day, folks are going to feel at home and pretty safe participating in our events.
Yeah, it's great to hear. And in the span of 2 weeks from late July to early August, we'll be running the Cal Am at Torrey Pines, the SCGA Women's Am at Wilshire, and the SCGA Amateur at Industry Hills. Have we ever had such a murderer's row of top-level amateur competition like this in just such a short time frame?
Yeah, well, and don't forget the Cal Women's Amateur just the week prior up at Pasatiempo in Northern California. So yeah, we're looking at likely 4 straight weeks of major championships. It's going to be a hot and heavy stretch, but we're looking forward to it. To your question, no, I don't think we've ever had anything quite as condensed as this, and that's of course intentional, but we will this year.
Yeah, and given some of that local talent will not be traveling across the country during the summer months as they normally would, do we expect a stronger field than usual for some of these major championships that we're running?
Well, we certainly hope so. I think for starters, to be able to offer a venue like Torrey Pines for the California Amateur. Certainly 1 year prior to the U.S. Open returning to Torrey Pines, we've always viewed that as just a huge draw on the 2020 calendar. And COVID or not, I think that field was bound to be great. We have heard from a lot of players that they don't anticipate traveling, and further, a lot of the national events have been canceled, unfortunately. So, perhaps one silver lining is that players will have more of a desire to stay local this year, and certainly, as we know, when you've got the best in Southern California playing, that's bound to be a strong field.
Yeah, and you mentioned there's some of the cancellations. The USGA actually recently announced that it's only running 4 championships this year, and all 4 are without qualifiers. So how does the no qualifiers deal there affect golf associations across the country? I know the SCGA specifically was scheduled to administer 43 qualifiers for this upcoming year.
Yeah, you nailed it. The USGA calendar is a big deal for golf associations throughout the country, and while we all may conduct a different number than each other, it involves securing host sites. So a lot of the facilities that we booked, we're of course planning on that. Maybe they didn't host other events because they had plans to host USGA events. So it does dominate a large part of our summer, and it leaves a void. Those are some of the most prominent amateur tournaments throughout the summer, even the qualifiers. That is, they draw a large amount of attention locally from players, from families, from college coaches. You name it. So, losing that, I think, will leave a big void in the landscape. But I, like most of my colleagues and others in the industry, certainly understand, why the USGA had to make the decision it did. Just administering that kind of a program on a national scale with the landscape being so different, even from county to county, let alone state to state, was really the only alternative here.
Yeah, I think everybody really understood that, what the USGA had to do there. And, I'll leave you with a couple more here. Well, obviously, your team runs championships for the best male and female amateurs in the region. The SCGA also offers many playing opportunities, such as a popular one-day series and a non-competitive program and member outings. So basically, we have something for everybody, handicaps and competitions for everybody here. So how does the SCGA provide something for everybody?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. We started long ago as an association that offered the amateur championship, and as our membership and as the golfing world has evolved, we've expanded our services to hopefully offer something for every member. So again, whether you have an interest in participating in a competition, in a championship, we've got those for the various demographics and skill levels throughout Southern California. Again, our championships typically involve qualifiers. They're typically multiple days, and so for those who only want to dedicate one day, well, that's where our one-day series kicks in. And again, the member outings is a program that has nothing to do with competition, but rather focuses on access to some of the best courses around that folks might not otherwise have access to play. So, we're always evaluating, what programs are going to be most attractive to our membership, and how we can best serve not just the elite, but everyone here in Southern California.
Yeah, and before we go, I'd like to remind everyone that the current SCGA schedule of events can be found on scga.org. So head on over there to register for SCGA championships, one-day series events, member outings, and much more. So anything else you'd like to say, Jeff, before we let you go?
I'm really excited to see the push we've had so far on entries. I think golfers are excited to be back. We're thankful for that. We we look forward to having you. And again, we're going to do our absolute best to make sure it's as safe and enjoyable, and at the same time, resembles the competitions you've been used to in the past. So we're thrilled you want to be back. There's nothing more we want to do than provide those opportunities for our members.
Yeah, that's great, Jeff. I think I speak for everybody at the association that says we're happy to get back to some semblance of normalcy, and we'll see everybody back on the golf course. So I think that does it here for this episode of Quarantine Chronicles. So thanks for joining, Jeff. Very informative. Stay safe, and we'll hopefully see everybody back on the course soon.
You got it, Jonathan. Thanks again for having me.
All right. Take care.